Pennsylvania hardcore scene. I think actually what, like I was into hardcore and going to shows in Philly, like Stackhouse Crew days, you know, and it was like actually violent back then too. But what drew me to the PA hardcore scene was we went up to see, believe it or not, I think early VOD and this band Crutch, and we became friends with the Scranton guy, God, the guys, you know, basically of like your area, like, you know, the CC's crowd and all that, and I don't know, the energy was there, man, and we really wanted to keep playing up there, and also down in Philly and anywhere we could really get shows, because we were so young and stupid, we could play anywhere. We played for candy bars. Lansdale scene was something that actually was really interesting in a way, and there's pockets of scenes that happen like that from time to time. Like I guess Erie was one of those places where, you know, shows would happen, 500 kids would be there, and everything was awesome. And it was one of those things where it started off once again very benign. You know, we brought in a couple of bands, but the way we did shows was we have a couple really good bands from Boston. We bring them down. You know, like the guys from Death Before Dishonor, and you know, like we bring bands from, you know, basically that we played with in other venues, and we try to share, you know, give them a share, and they come down, and like once again it was crazy, because we would book a show and all of a sudden out of nowhere, like we expect 100 kids and 300 kids show up, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's actually kind of proud in a way, because like there's the Lifeless is going on before us. There's some of those kids are in that band, and you know, a lot of the kids that used to go to our shows that were actually kids when we played, they're still in hardcore, they're doing merch, they're doing, anyone, man. And it was just one of those things where it's lightning in a bottle, because if you go to shows, you'll see that there's a lot of, they almost have it. And they have a venue, and they have some energy, but they don't have like that like special it factor that brings kids out. And Lansdale, you know, up at CC's was a magical time, I think, for hardcore, and you know, like a lot of the venues down in Philly, where like everything, the church shows and really anywhere that was well done. Shows are great. So, you know, it was a magical time for at least Lansdale. It's still going strong. We just played in front of a few hundred people down in Lansdale recently. So, well, really what started it, not to, like, I hate doing stuff like this because it sounds so pompous, but like Chris Spear, our drummer, is like a master organizer. Like, we would be nowhere without the fact that he can actually figure stuff out. He can actually call people. He has the tenacity to stick with something that I've never seen anyone be able to stick with something. So we'd have like an idea for a show, and usually it would fail after you don't get someone to call you back. He would be the guy that would be like, yo, let's do the show. Like, oh, if we don't have a PA, I'll find a PA. If we don't have this, I'll find it. I'll make it happen. He was one of those guys that could totally 100% make it happen. And I guess like it would be before Hope Without Reason, definitely. There's a couple old Lansdale bands like Soul Grind, way early in our career, and we used to play down in Willow Grove, and the bands were actually there, but it wasn't that like amazing turnout. You know, like shows were happening, but there wasn't like a general place to happen and everything like that. And we came back with an idea to play a Lansdale show, and we were much surprised at the turnout. And it was one of those things where you're dumb if you get 300 kids to show up for a show that's supposed to be like minimal, you're dumb not to try it again. And it kept on going and going and going, and that's how most of them were. Like, it's funny because I'm like, I have to save my voice a little bit because I lose it because I'm so fucking old. But if I can still do it, we might still be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Believe me, like when it comes to this stuff, like beyond like the bullshit that you go through 9 to 5, you know, like I run my own business and stuff. Like all of us still want to do this, so it isn't like out of the question or anything like that. It's just, you know, like legitimately how Dysphoria pretty much all started doing this again was Spear had to get his back fixed. You know, his back was in the risk of him not even being able to walk. He had to get back surgery, and we kind of made an agreement that, you know, to get Chris rehabbed, motivation-wise, he wanted to play the drums, and that's why we wanted to play. Also because it's fun, but you know, on top of that, we wanted this kid to play drums still, you know. And surgery was a success, and he's playing. You know, I think that's, I mean, it's not the total reason, but I mean, it's maybe like something you don't really know about is the fact that, no, it's awesome. I mean, Chris is doing great. I mean, we can't get him to stop lifting heavy things, which is Chris.
Could you give us the origin of how Dysphoria started?
Funny in a way, I didn't want to be in a band. I did not, like I was in that middle phase in the 90s where I went to metal shows and hardcore shows. And I was actually just kind of like finding hardcore because I was like, through my career in high school, I was like the A to Z guy on metal. If a thrash metal came, yeah, exactly. Like if a metal band came through Philly, I could tell you like what their tour schedule was, like what show they played, what city they played for, ahead of time, where they're going next. I was that really annoying like music nerd kid. Like I tried to dance at shows and I was really bad at it. The whole 9 yards. And but with metal bands, like I tried to go meet the guys and they kind of sucked. Like they were just kind of like pompous, like more or less, like the whole like let's get laid, let's smoke dope.
You play instruments, we're better.
But then we're going on soon, aren't we? I gave you credit for things though. There you go. So then we had Dysphoria was established, but what happened was they had a singer guitarist, and they decided they're going to get a singer and a guitarist. So we're going to, like, 2 people replace 1 person. And I just started screaming, scared the shit out of the drummer, not Chris, but another drummer. We were horrible, we were bad, we played jokes. I played shows with my underwear on the outside of my pants. Like we were just, didn't take anything seriously at all. And then something really awesome happened where, me and Neil, the I guess lead guitarist, like, we really decided we wanted to do it right. Kevin was, we were all getting better at playing our instruments. And really what made us really follow through was we replaced our drummer with the old drummer, Chris Spear. And Chris was definitely a hell of a lot of improvement. And we were organized and we really wanted to do it. And we made it happen. So, that's basically it, I guess. There's a little bit more to it than that, but,
We'll talk about one of the fun/bullshit parts of hardcore. How about the violence fights?
It's funny, this is like the worst bar conversation I could ever get into, is the guy belling up to me and being like, I went to one of your shows before, man, and I don't like those guys, or those people, or whoever. And it's like, it's weird because it's like, if everyone got along and everything was happy, it wouldn't make it a good show. So you need a little bit of spice to spice shows up a little bit. But then when you're playing nothing but shows and you can't play because the venue's getting shut down before you even get a chance to load your equipment in, that's really stupid. So, I guess like the thing is like there's a reason why 18-year-old kids go to hardcore shows. There's a reason why people dance. There's a reason why people, let their aggression out. But there's also a tactful, intelligent way to go about being, letting out all that without it being, and also you look like an idiot. CC's? Oh my God. Well, before that we played Scarlet O'Hara's, and it was funny because we used to have this gig where we had to play we had to sell tickets outside of the door. So, and we get paid in candy bars and stuff like that. And that was kind of funny in a way because we were moving more north, and back then a show going 2 hours north was oh my God, it's so far away, God, now it's 2 hours is nothing. But CC was awesome because it was Stroudsburg kids, Scranton kids, and it was a really good mix of people. Really credit Crutch for a lot of that with us because we're definitely friends with Crutch, and they got us on a bunch of shows and stuff like that. And then just the fact that we could go to an established venue with some form of PA, some form of ingrown scene, and every show was great. I don't think I can honestly say every show was high energy. Every show people, and also back then it was a respect of the crowd where, if a band came from out of state, people would still stick around and check them out. And we've had a lot of bad scenes around where, kids only hang out for local bands and headliners, and they were really good with that. I mean, we'd bring a band out from somewhere and they always had a good time because, these kids actually kind of knew how that was, and they kind of lived it. I guess is the best way to explain it. No, it's been an awesome ride, man. Like we've been between like going on tour with Joe and Mike, which might be mentioned by those, by other people, and the years of, almost like we have like eras, like we have like the early days, the middle days, and like the other days, and we have our hiatus that we went on for a long time, and now we're playing again, and it's almost like, at least when I'm on stage, maybe not so much afterwards, you feel like you're still 20 years old, and you feel like yourself. If we can still keep doing it, and if people still want to come out and say, hey, what's up, that's awesome, and hopefully maybe we'll have something new out for people at a later point. That'd be awesome too. But we're all friends, man. That's the way it really is, and the whole, I know the cliche family thing, but really we are a part of a family.